So not last Thursday, but 2 Thursdays ago, the Browns beat the Steelers in a snowy Thursday night football game right here in downtown Cleveland. It's less than 2 weeks since they've played. 2 weeks today, actually, since they played. It'll be less than 3 weeks when they play on Sunday. Tyvis, when you play a team for the second time in this short of a span, this close together, how much of an impact does the first game have on the next game?
Oh, it has a big one because now you know you can anticipate what to expect. You know, like for me as a DB, like I went up against this receiver, so I've seen his work. I know the type of stuff that he's trying to do. You know, releases wise, I got the tempo of his routes and things like that. On the offensive line, you know how physical they're going to be. So you got a good idea, and with it being so short of time, what's going to happen is they're going to go back, they're going to look at what worked, and then they're going to go and test to see if you fix those things, and then see whatever else the Broncos did or whatever Cincinnati did to make work, test those things out. It's really a simple game plan. But to me, I think we'll see a better game. Obviously, what I want to see is George Pickens obviously said that the weather played this huge factor into the reason why the Browns ended up winning that game. So that's going to be something that's bulletin board material for the Cleveland Browns. They better be ready to accept that challenge. Obviously, he's coming off of a pretty big game last week as well. So, yeah, it's going to be a really good game.
That's actually what I wanted to ask you was if you have – I'm trying to think if there was a play – that the Browns ran against the Steelers that worked. I can't think of one off the top of my head that they ran a couple times that they had good success with. Mm-hmm. Do you just assume, well, that's not going to work again? They clean that up, or do you stick with the? No, we're going to do it.
You at least try it.
Yeah,
because you got to get it off. They got to get it off tape. Like if it's on tape, I'm running it again. And then what you do is you make sure you have a counter off of that. Because what they're going to do is anticipate that it's coming, and if you stop it the first time, run it again, counter it with something else, it should be wide open.
You know what? The Browns have a chance to make history, guys.
Why?
The last time that the Browns have beaten the Steelers. The last time the Browns swept the Steelers in the season. Now remember, in 2021, they beat them twice because they beat them in the playoffs. Right. They didn't sweep them because they lost one of the regular season. But the last time the Browns swept the Steelers, 2002, says Tyvis. Jason, what do you say?
I'd say like 95.
95, says Jason?
No, not 95.
I know the answer because it's one of my 5 stats for today. So I won't say it, but all you
1982.
1989. That's also the last time the Browns beat the Steelers 3 times in a row, 3 straight matchups, and the Browns beat the Steelers their last matchup last year. So they have a chance to get their first 3-game winning streak and their first regular season sweep of the Steelers in 35 years. That is insane.
Was that the 51-0 game, 89? Do you know?
It doesn't matter. No, I got it up right here.
They beat them in the opener. Browns beat the Steelers in the opener 51-0, but I can't remember what year that was. It was right around
51-0. That was the 89. End of the winning streak. By the way, I'm incorrect. The last time they won twice in the season was 88, not 89. But the last time they had a winning streak more than 2 was in 89. The Browns beat the Steelers, let's see, like 7 times in a row from October of 86 to September of 89.
That's Bernie's years, right?
Yeah, that was Metcalf had 2-point returns for
touchdowns.
That is
the only winning streak that the Browns have had of more than 2 games against the Steelers since the 60s.
2-point returns in a game.
If memory serves, it was a home game. It was like a 4:00 start because it was dark.
They shouldn't have kicked it to him.
I think he had 2-punt returns for touchdowns in one game against the Steelers. I mean, that's the Bubby Brister era.
Yeah.
Maybe Mark Malone. Steelers weren't very good.
Well, I tell you what, the one thing that outside of the George Pickens matchup, that boy T.J. Watt coming this time. I mean, he paused.
Oh yeah,
T.J. Watt gonna play very hard this game from the Browns thing.
Yeah, both teams have locker room material.
Pickens is going to try and throw Newsome into the river this time. He tried throwing him into the stands 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and thought, man, there's a lot of people in Cleveland want to throw Greg in the stands too, so I get it.
Genu said that he a fake tough guy, so.
Who said he's a fake tough guy?
Genu said that George Pickens is a fake
tough guy.
So.
I mean,
I love the chirp.
Are there many wide receivers that are real tough guys? Like Hines Ward, maybe.
Hines would count as that.
Yeah.
Steve Smith.
Dante Stallworth.
Well, that's a whole different story. Ty, considering the first matchup was played in snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consider the first matchup was played in snow, Tyvis. Like weird weather conditions that most likely aren't in the forecast for this Sunday.
They are not, Mike. You should know that they're not in the forecast.
Well, you never know with weather. That's what I'm saying,
true.
most likely.
Fair enough.
Very true.
Yeah, be better, Bull. Be better. But, Tyvis, considering the first game was played in snow here, I know you said it. You could take a lot from the first matchup considering it was 3 weeks ago, but how much does the snow play an impact on not what happened, but how you can, I guess, use game 1 to prepare for game 2?
I mean, the snow does put a wrinkle into things because, wide receivers are tiptoeing a little bit, trying to make sure that they can plant things like that. I mean, from a corner standpoint, the only thing that you really could take away when it started snowing was the ability of, like, Pickens to go up and make a play, like something like that. Like, that's, all right, this guy got significant ball skills. Like, I got to be ready to play the ball. Why are you looking like that?
I'm not looking like anything. Got something in my eye.
Oh, but yeah, like that's about it. Because it turned into like short passes and things like that. So obviously, if you tried to throw a deep ball, the wind would take it and things like that. So you seen them get open, but like I can't really go off of like it wasn't like he came up there and hit me with some stuff because he think he gonna slip and fall himself. So like the routes became really bland. In that, so it's like simple stuff, like just run up and just run a slant or something like that. So that you can't take nothing away from that part of the game. But it was a good portion of that game where the weather was fine and you got to see them do their best stuff.
It's interesting because the Steelers' defense, for most part this year, has been really good, but they did not play well against the Browns, and they did not play well, even though they won, they did not play well against the Bengals last week. So
they on a decline.
Is this a trend that they're not going to be as good defensively, or is it a 2-game anomaly?
Well,
I don't know.
The Browns thing, the Browns had a lot of energy, and I don't think Pittsburgh did a really good job matching the energy that the Browns was bringing. And with the Bengals, I mean, their offense is not the problem, obviously. Yeah. Speaking of, your boy gone for the rest of the season, Logan Wilson.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
The season's pretty much over.
True. So. But anyways.
Plus, it's two divisional opponents, so nobody knows
That's
these
true.
guys better.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You seen the Hard Knocks. By the way, I watched it last night after listening to you talk about it. And when the offensive line coach came up, I just started laughing.
Oh, that guy.
Did he come off like a clown?
Every sentence, it's the F word. Every sentence.
And again, I'm Mr. Curse. I love cursing, but like that was ridiculous.
I've never had a conversation with that guy.
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask around, like, is he always like that, or is that for the cameras?
Right. It was like, all the guys in the room were like dead. There was no energy.
Well, that's what? That's a Tuesday? Not Tuesday.
Right, but he's not like...
It's a Wednesday morning. You think guys are going to go, yeah, let's get him. It's Wednesday morning.
They could have a little life.
Nah.
He wasn't firing them up at all.
Not in the morning time. Maybe an after practice meeting.
Is it unusual for the quarterback, Jameis, to be in the offensive line room? Or is that common for quarterbacks? I mean, you didn't play offense. But.
Yeah, I couldn't really answer that question. Usually quarterbacks is in meetings by themselves with quarterbacks like all day.
Yeah.
Like you see them for like team meetings and stuff like that.
Right.
But for the most part, they're like always meeting with the quarterback coach. It's ridiculous. They got to come in early. It's like I tell you what, when I was talking to Sherm about his time in Tampa Bay, he was talking about how the backups was telling Tom Brady all the stuff too. Like he said, like those backups study so much stuff, like to get Tom ready for the game as well. And I'm just like, is that much going into that? Like you would think like it's Tom, so Tom would know everything, but they like, no, the backups like got certain things that they got to know and be able to present it to Tom and all these things. So it's like
when Jameis was
ridiculous.
When Jameis was backing up Deshaun here, I had players telling me like, he's here when we get here. I don't know what he does all day, but he's here when we get here, and he's here when we leave. So even when he wasn't the starter, Jameis was one of those first guy in, last guy out when he was the backup.
Yeah, that quarterback stuff, it's ridiculous, man.
I think it was Peter King wrote a story with Carson Palmer a few years ago. Google it if you ever. It is fascinating about that
film
and the amount of film and amount of work that these quarterbacks have to put in, the time that they have to put in. And then you got someone like Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
That's why I said.
Well, What's his name? That who's the quarterback coming out now? Who said
Carson
he
Beck,
watching
who
film?
said doesn't like watching football.
I like watching football.
I actually
He said that was like the Jed Wills thing. I got his explanation made sense.
yeah.
His first comment did not mean what
cross
he
him
meant to
off,
say.
and I actually like him. Like not as a first rounder.
I was about to
but
say
if he was like as a mid, I don't know if he'll be there. I don't know where he's projected.
I'm not
to
interested in
go.
a guy who doesn't love football.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Is at
that's
that
not
position?
It's not what he means. He what he was saying was, that's why I said he shouldn't have said
Yeah.
what he said at the beginning. What he was saying is when he watches a regular football game, he doesn't watch it as a casual fan. He watches it like, oh, they're in cover two, so the quarterback should go there. Or when the quarterback throws, he's like, well, I see this. Why did that quarterback see that? So he never can
all
sit
right.
there
Well,
and
if that's
enjoy
what he
it.
meant, then
That's
that's
what
fine,
that's
but-
what he said. That's why I
Yeah.
said it was stupid for him to say I don't enjoy watching football because that was not what he meant.
I got you.
He's saying like
Okay.
I can't watch it casually because I'm always locked into why the players is doing
That's
what they're doing.
That's a different story. That makes sense. Go
Well,
ahead,
what,
Mike.
what do you think? Does the first game have any impact on the second
Of
game?
course, 100%. I don't think the fact that I don't think you can write it off because of the weather. As Tyva said, the first half of the game, weather wasn't a factor. It was the second half of the game, and obviously the weather changes things. But this time of year, as you said, busting my chops before, deservedly so, you never know what the weather's going to be, right? It's going to be cold. It's supposed to be cold and sunny on Sunday, but things could change here in the Midwest. We know that. There's always a debate whether Pittsburgh is technically the Midwest or not. It's like, because it's not the Northeast,
I don't consider it the
but
Midwest.
it's not really the Midwest. I don't know what it is.
It's just Pittsburgh.
The fact of the matter is, even after watching the Hard Knocks and all those things,
Yeah.
whatever team comes in with more energy, which Pittsburgh has got something to prove, like they're gonna come in with more energy this game, and the Browns have to match it or over exceed it, which is what they did in the first one. You know, you got to embrace being out there, and you got to bring that toughness. Miles gonna have to have that game. Like you can't go out there that first game against them, have that type of game, say those comments, and then the next game
Don't back it up.
exactly
Because you know Watts can
because
say
you know
something.
TJ Watt is coming.
Yeah.
God, I gotta stop saying that. He's gonna play very hard in this game. Pause.
We've ruined that now. We've ruined that. Yeah. So obviously it's a big factor. It's hard to sweep a team, especially when that team is better than you, which the Steelers are.
And
so,
it's a divisional team.
And they're at home for this
But
game.
Russell has moments where he regresses and things just don't look good, so they gotta take advantage of that. And Jameis can't.
He played
throw two picks
great
in.
against the
He
Bengals.
threw
Now, the
for
Bengals
did he throw for
defense
400
is
yards?
horrible, but
414.
he played extremely well in that. The pick, to be fair about it, the pick he threw early in that game against the Bengals should have been pass interference. on the
Pickett's got
Bengals.
thrown down by his head.
Yeah. That should have
You
been
don't see that very often.
Yeah, no. It should have been pass interference. He played great.